There, I just wanted to record this video in this moment. Um, it's what day is today? I think it's the 17th today. 17th of November. Duh, yeah. 1 month since my birthday. 28 days since my uncle's birthday. 18 days since his death. And it's so weird. It's so weird. I have just watched a video from I just found out his channel. I don't remember. It's something how We're in Hell, yeah. About assisted, you know. And it made me remember, because it is so hard. You feel like you're not going through it. You feel like there are moments where you have to dissociate to be able to just support your family, support your loved one, and then once they're gone, then you can finally let yourself go. But it takes some time. It takes some time for you to be able to open up, and then you have moments of happiness, and then you stop and you ask why. I shouldn't be having this moment, but I should. Of course I should. It's crazy. I don't know what I want to say. I'm just yeah. Uh, I'm looking at myself right now. I'm recording this through my tablet so I can look at my face and see myself, and as like as another person, or uh, yeah. And I there was this book that Sam, I think is his name, mentioned. He was about a doctor that worked with MAID, medically assisted death, and it was mentioning people's last moments. And it's frustrating that my uncle couldn't be awake and fully aware of what was going on in his last 2 months. His last moment where he was responsive, he was laughing, like he touched his face and he couldn't feel it. He kept touching his face for 2 hours, and I didn't realize what was happening. We were inside the hospital. None of the nurses gave us any attention, even as I pleaded for help. It was terrifying, and he kept touching his face, and he looked at me and he said, all the time he kept repeating, "I'm sorry to make you go through this. What a bummer, right? You should be at home having fun, doing your stuff," as if it was just a normal day. But his speech was deteriorating, and I didn't realize what was happening. I was so scared, but I wanted to keep him relaxed, so I didn't raise my voice, but I was asking for help for the nurses and everything, while trying to keep him calm. And yeah, so that happened. in the medication room. And then I'm hearing my mother through the corridor. But yeah. And then we went from the medication room to his he was supposed to be hospitalized, but not because of the stroke that he suffered, which the doctor discarded. He was supposed to be hospitalized because of the double vision that he presented. That hospitalized because of double vision. And so the nurses, I tried to help him into the he was put in a wheelchair and brought to the table, and I tried to move him around. He was very heavy, so we had doctors and nurses help us. And then he was put in a bed with the IV plug in his arm, but the moment that we moved him from the chair to the bed, the IV plug got disconnected, and I didn't notice it for a few minutes when I realized his bed was drenched in medication. And I asked the nurses, and the nurses didn't change it, didn't give me attention, and he was breathing weirdly, like it's not the death rattle. It's nothing to do with the death rattle, but oh my god, it's a long story. Let's he stayed in that bed unassisted for like 1 hour. It was horrifying, with his IV plug plugged out, barely breathing. And I tried to talk to him, but I didn't want to bother him too much, so I was like, "Are you hearing me?" And he said, and if you're aware what's happening, put your thumb. You give me a thumbs up, and he gave me a thumbs up. And I was like blank faced, looking at him and entirely frozen. And yeah. And then the very moment that he realized what was happening for good, and that he probably didn't have a chance, was when he touched his face one last time, and he started laughing loudly, manically, and his laughter still echoes. And the nurse asked, "Is he always like that?" And I said, "No, he's lucid. He got here, he was just normal, he was fine." And the moment I said that, he immediately stopped laughing and looked at me, because he wanted to keep some dignity, that the word dignity, as I remember it, being mentioned by Sam from This Is Hell as a performance for the loved ones, for the ones that are watching you. And he immediately stopped laughing, and that cuts through me in a way that I can't even begin to describe. And then they took him to the emergency room after, I don't know, 5 hours that we were in the hospital, 6 hours. After 6 hours from his first stroke symptom that day, because he had a transient stroke the other day that the doctors did not diagnose. Transient ischemic attack. Tia, yeah, and they brought him to the ER, and I couldn't follow. And then later I saw him in the ear, and he was with a breathing tube, and I was, oh, at least he's not making that sound anymore. That's good, right? And the doctor looked at me and said, oh, well, that's mechanical ventilation. But yeah, and then he was about to sleep there, as in propofol. He went to the intensive care unit only after 3 days. A patient from a severe stroke going to the intensive care unit after 3 days at 55 years old. That's disgusting. But that's what happened. Remember, I'm in Brazil. We used to have one of the best public healthcare systems in the world. I'm in Santos, the biggest port in the entire southern hemisphere. We rake in lots of money from taxes, from ships from all over the world. We get in commodities from the world to all parts of Latin America. Yet we didn't have money to see a tomographist, to make a CT scan in time. You're supposed to make a CT scan in a 3-hour window from a stroke diagnosis, from a stroke symptom. And it was 2 days. 2 days. 3 if you count the transient ischemic attack, which also demands a CT scan. And it's revolting, it's sorrowful, it's horrifying, because it feels like it could be avoided. I feel like I could have taken him off of there and took him to the hospital right in front of us, which was a particular hospital that we couldn't afford, but I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if we couldn't afford. But yeah, that's just how it happened. It happened. And I'm so happy that I'm able to cry about it, because I haven't cried in so long. Thank you. But yeah, what time is it? I think it's 7:46 in the morning. I woke up at 4 a.m. today, hearing my mother scream, but she wasn't. Like, he was screaming, come here, come here. But no, it was just like an hallucination, because I heard the voice from outside, like the dream waking me up, and I've been hearing these voices like that every now and then, like auditory hallucination voices in cars and things like that. It's very slight, but it terrifies me. Yeah. And then I spent these 2 months reading on neurogenesis and neuroplasticity and treatments with stem cells, hoping that he would get out of the hospital even if he was fully unconscious, and we could treat him at home for even if he was vegetative for years, until we could get a doctor to approve him for a test treatment. And yeah, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen, but I was there. My mother was there. My brother was there for the last 2 months of his life by his side. The last thing he wanted. They're calling us for breakfast. I guess I'm gonna go downstairs soon.
Café da manhã. Te amo.
Te amo também.
Vai live?
Não, só tô gravando um vídeo.
Beleza, te amo. Ó, pra foto do meu canal.
Deixa.
Mas tu viu, eu fiz luz, som.
Nossa, caraca, tá bem
E
detalhado.
fiz tudo com marca-texto. Com aqueles marca-texto de escola que tu compra.
Mrs. Drawing. Yeah.
Aqueles que você compra lá naquelas coisas. Naqueles negócios que é meio ruim.
Eu comprava bastante.
Mas é
desses.
Vitor do futuro.
Uhum.
Não fica triste não, tá? Que você vai sempre ter essa irmãzinha aqui pra te encher o saco.
É bom chorar de vez em quando.
Mas não fica triste.
Quando foi a última vez que você viu o irmão chorando?
Sei lá, acho que foi ano passado.
Então. Mas eu preciso do
Mas
meu tempo
você não
sozinho,
precisa
viu?
ficar triste.
Eu já deixo lá pra ele tomar
Tá, me
café
dá um
também.
abraço aqui. Vitor do futuro, eu vou sempre estar aqui pra te encher o saco. Se você estiver triste, pode conversar comigo. E você também, seu pedaço de goiaba. E a última vez que eu te vi chorando é agora. Eu sei que você viu a caneta.
I don't remember where I left. But I'm happy I have a family, you know, even though I lost one precious member. It was her drawing that he kept at his closet. I don't remember even if it mentioned that in this video. But so many memories. And I'm glad I have them. They're not eternal. Memories deteriorate after time, but I'm glad I have them. I'm glad I was able to experience it. And when we buried him, I had to watch the exhumation of my grandmother, who I loved very much, and I love very much, and who was an icon for me as a child, an inspiration, and I was very peaceful watching her exhumation, actually. I thought I was gonna be mortified, but no. I avoided watching her remains because I didn't want to see her skull. No. But I saw her femur. Yeah, and it was just a bone with some red, I don't know what that is, bacterial cultures, leftovers of whatever she ever had on her bones. But then I looked at the flies. There were many flies. It's a cemetery after all. And the flies, at that moment, I realized that the flies aren't disgusting. They're some of the most beautiful things in a cemetery. Because the flies in a cemetery, in the Brazilian style cemetery, right? Because, well, it's not like in a forest where people bury bodies on the ground like they do in graveyards in the United States. I don't know. I haven't been abroad, but in a Brazilian cemetery, as the ones I've seen, it's cement, so the flies do get into the tomb, and they eat the body and the remains, and they take the body out of the cage and turn the body into all sorts of other things. Because once a fly consumes the body, it dies as well. And the fly's body becomes so many other things. And the chapter closes. We never pick how the chapter closes. I used to say that life is like a car, kinda, in the sense that if you don't pick the steering wheel and steer it the way you want, you don't pick when it's gonna crash. You don't ever pick when it's gonna crash, but you don't pick where it's going or when it's gonna crash, or it just crashes without your agency. So you have to pick the steering wheel. Even if you have the steering wheel, nothing stops the engine from stopping. Nothing stops someone from having a car in front of yours. But at least you choose the direction, you choose the pacing, you choose what you want to do with your life. And that's what we must do. We pick the steering wheel, because if we don't, it's like a defective Tesla car killing people. And anyway, yeah, I don't know. defective Tesla cars don't even have steering wheels, which maybe is a nice analogy. There's lots of things we could say about Tesla cars. Well, I think I'm gonna go downstairs and have breakfast. And yeah, that's it. I'm glad I was able to record this video. And I'm glad I'm able to be here. I have to drink some water. I haven't drank water in ages. Yeah, bye.